Your garage floor has a crack running across it right now, and if you call a contractor, he's going to show up, look at it for about 4 minutes, and hand you an estimate for somewhere between $800 and $1,500. If you go to Home Depot instead, you're going to find a wall of epoxy kits, polyurethane fillers, and concrete caulk. You'll buy one. You'll spend a Sunday afternoon on your knees filling that crack. And somewhere between 6 months and a year from now, you're going to watch it lift right back out like you never touched it. Here's what nobody in that transaction ever told you. The crack didn't come back because you did it wrong. It came back because every single product on that Home Depot shelf was designed around the wrong idea. And the right idea costs about $2. Let me back up, because the chemistry here is what makes this make sense. Concrete is not a static material. Most people think of it like stone, permanent, fixed, done. But concrete breathes. Every time the temperature rises, your garage slab expands. Every time it drops at night, it contracts. This happens every single day. Thousands of cycles over the life of the floor. That movement is invisible, but it's real, and it's measured. Engineers call it the thermal expansion coefficient, and for concrete, it's a specific number. Now, here's the problem. When you fill a crack with epoxy, you're putting a second material into that gap. Epoxy has its own thermal expansion coefficient, and it's different from concrete's. So every single day, as your floor heats up and cools down, the concrete moves one way and the epoxy moves a slightly different way. That difference is small, but it happens every day. And at the boundary where epoxy meets concrete, that daily stress adds up until the bond fails. The filler pops loose. The crack opens again. This isn't a quality problem with the epoxy. It's a physics problem. You put the wrong material in the gap, and physics eventually wins every time. So what actually works? Walk into any commercial warehouse, any airport hangar, any distribution center in this country, and look at the floor. Those floors carry forklifts running 8 hours a day. They absorb fuel spills, hydraulic fluid, road salt tracked in from truck tires, freeze-thaw cycles every winter. And they don't crack and lift. They don't need constant patching. The contractors who pour and seal those floors aren't using epoxy kits from a retail store. They're using something called sodium silicate. It's also called concrete densifier. It's been used in industrial construction for well over 100 years, and you can buy a bottle of it at any masonry supply store or online for about $2. Here's what it actually does, and this is the part that's genuinely different from everything else on the shelf. When sodium silicate soaks into concrete, it doesn't sit on top of the crack like a patch. It reacts. Concrete already contains a compound called calcium hydroxide left over from the original curing process. When sodium silicate contacts that calcium hydroxide, a chemical reaction produces calcium silicate hydrate. That compound is the main thing that makes concrete hard in the first place. So, what sodium silicate is doing inside your crack is not filling it with a foreign material. It's converting the damaged zone back into the same compound the surrounding floor is already made of. The repair becomes chemically identical to the rest of the slab. It expands and contracts at exactly the same rate as the concrete around it, because it is concrete. It cannot lift. It cannot pop. There is no interface to fail. And here's the part that goes beyond just fixing the crack. Sodium silicate doesn't just react in the visible gap. It penetrates into the porous concrete matrix around the crack and densifies that zone. The microscopic pores that allowed moisture and road salt to work their way in and cause the crack in the first place get filled with calcium silicate hydrate. The floor actually becomes harder and denser at the repair site than it was before the crack appeared. Oil sits on the surface instead of soaking in. Water beads. Salt can't penetrate. One application, and that section of floor is more resistant to future damage than it was on the day it was poured. Now here's the part that should make you genuinely annoyed. Sodium silicate is not a new discovery. It's not obscure chemistry buried in a research paper somewhere. Industrial and commercial concrete contractors have been using it as a standard sealer for decades. Every major warehouse floor, every commercial garage, every airport taxiway apron is sealed this way. The product has been sitting in masonry supply stores and on industrial shelves the entire time. But it was never put on the shelf next to the epoxy kits at Home Depot. It was never marketed in a 30-second TV spot, because the retail concrete repair market was built around a different model. Epoxy kits at $50 a unit that last 6 months and need replacing. Contractor jobs priced at over $1,000 for 40 minutes of labor. A $2 product that permanently solves the problem doesn't fit into either of those revenue streams. So it stayed where it was, in industrial supply catalogs, used by professionals, invisible to the homeowner who needed it most. Here's exactly what to do. Get sodium silicate concrete sealer, sometimes sold as concrete densifier or hardener. You can find it at masonry supply stores, some hardware stores, or order it online. A small bottle runs $2 to $4 and is more than enough for a typical crack plus the surrounding floor area. Clean the crack first, sweep it out, blow out any loose dust and debris, and if there's oil near the crack, degrease that area. Then pour the sodium silicate slowly and directly into the crack. Pour it slowly so it has time to soak in rather than run off to the sides. Apply a first coat, wait about 10 minutes, then apply a second coat into the same crack. Then leave it alone. No foot traffic, no water, no vehicles for at least 24 hours. 48 hours if you can manage it. The chemical reaction needs time to complete, and disturbing it early interrupts the process. When you come back, run your hand across the crack. The surface will feel continuous. The texture may look slightly different to the eye, but structurally it's solid. Pour water on it and watch what happens.
And apply a thin, even coat across your entire garage floor. Work it into any other fine cracks or rough patches you notice. Let it penetrate for about 20 minutes, then apply a second pass. Cure for 24 hours. That's the complete job. The same floor treatment that commercial warehouses pay contractors to apply on 10,000 square foot slabs. You just did it yourself for $2 and an afternoon. The contractor who wanted $1,200 for this job is not a bad person. He's operating inside a system that was built on the assumption that you don't know what he knows. The Home Depot wall of epoxy kits exists because a $2 permanent fix doesn't generate the same margin as $50 kits that need replacing twice a year. The information was never hidden in a classified file somewhere. It was just never handed to you. And that gap between what professionals know and what homeowners are sold is where a lot of money quietly disappears every year. Now you know what's on the other side of it.